All right, guys. Welcome to the global restart of Dark Souls 1. I'm actually a day ahead of time just because I know this first part's not going to have any spots where the online play is going to come into effect. And I know that after what am I trying to say? Wait a second. I just want to look at a few of these descriptions before I go past it. Man, I know what I'm getting. Well, what I was saying mid-thought was, what's my name? No, I know I'm going to be working a lot very soon, so I won't have a lot of time to play initially, so I just want to get started, and I want to watch this cutscene.
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bullets peeled apart their stone skills. Witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. And Seath, the Scaleless, betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers. And man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side. yes, indeed. The dark sign brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world. This is your fate.
And we're there, guys! So the first thing that, after having played Dark Souls 3, that I thought about was, they went underground, and that's where the fire was. Right, so they had the arch trees and the everlasting dragons, and the camera goes underground to the flame, and that's where they find all their souls, which for some reason made me think of the profane flame just out of nowhere. See if we can get. We are very hollow. It's one of the game, one of the tricks the game gives you. The game gives you right off the bat. But on your chest, you can see, and I showed this off in my playthrough of Dark Souls 3. The little. I suppose that's the Dark Sigil. I mean, it doesn't show up until you're very five sigils deep in Dark Souls 3, and pretty hollow. Well, I don't know if it has anything to do with the 5 sigils, but you definitely have a high level of hollowing when that shows up. But yeah, man, that's the way the game started. And the other thing was that blonde-haired chick. I don't know if I ever knew who that was. I don't know if that's supposed to be Anastasia or whatever, the first firekeeper that we run across. And the other thing I noticed was that the everybody who picked up a soul was like taller. Like if you saw like the Witch of Izalith bit, you want to just scroll back and watch it. She is much taller than her daughters. So it seems like having what am I trying to say? Having the soul actually grants you a larger size, which could have implications. Yeah, because Nito's tall. Furtive Pygmy wasn't, though. Furtive Pygmy was still small. But Witch of Izalith was big. Gwyn was bigger than his knights behind him. Nito was just big in general. We meet him later. Yeah. So first off, what we start off with is a very common type of protective gear. Nothing. I don't think we get anything from our armor and such. And it's gonna get used to not using the right and left bumpers. We start off with none of that. None of that. Don't have our Estus yet because yeah. What's his face gives us that Oscar. The hilt of this lost sword was found discarded in the undead asylum, only slightly better than one's bare hands and not recommended for extensive use. Alright, so the game tells you right there, be sure to find a replacement quickly. No shield. Right, but I do remember there being lore on some of this stuff. This black crystal, long a symbol of farewell, is granted to banished undead. Banished undead. The crystal sends phantoms back to their homes or sends you back to yours. Beware of fickle use of this item. Banished undead. Oh, well, that's us. I mean, we're one of the common themes in the Dark Souls series is once you have this undead curse, you can't get rid of people. You kill them, they just keep coming back. So you in this game, they just stick you in an undead asylum where you, like the intro said, you wait the end of the world. You're just there to just sit and rot. The dark sign signifies an accursed undead. Those branded with it are reborn after death, but will one day lose their mind and go hollow. That's exactly what it says in Dark Souls 3. And we now know that the dark sign at least seems to be an eclipsed sun, as we saw in Dark Souls 3. Death triggers the dark sign, which returns its bearer to the last bonfire rested at, but at the cost of all humanity and souls. Oh, okay. So I didn't catch that first time I played. When you die, the dark sign triggers and returns you to the last bonfire rested at, but also it's a usable item that allows you to return to your last bonfire and lose humanity and souls. So that's interesting. Universal key opens any basic lock, tool of the trade for thieves. But in the cursed land of the undead, most doors are better left unopened. Yeah, maybe in your mind. Okay, that's all the lore we can get just straight off the dome. And we are... I tried to start this game up with the original mods I had on it, and I don't know if there was some patching issues that... But DSFix crashed. This is actually my third time trying to get to this point in the game where there wasn't some kind of graphical bug. But anyway, without further talking, let's pick up our first piece of loot. And this is on a corpse that was dropped down to us from above by Mr. Oscar. Which I don't think there's any gear in this game that tells you his name. Key to the dungeon of the undead asylum to the north. A mysterious knight, without saying a word, shoved a corpse down into the cell, and on its person was this key. Who was this knight, and what was his purpose? There may be no answers, but one must still forge ahead. So there is, in these games, there is a sort of narrator who, the narrator is weird, because it's almost, like, it's almost fucking with you. Because the narrator presumably has... What the hell am I doing with these left bumpers? That's going to screw me up. Presumably has knowledge of everything. I mean, it's not a person in the game. It's the game telling you shit. And it's saying, who was this knight? Well, you fucking know who it was. It was Oscar. What was his purpose? Undead pilgrimage. I mean, he'll tell us a little bit. Maybe no answers. There may be no answers. The game tells you that. Get out of here, Dark Souls. Undead Asylum, so we know we've been sent here. We've annoyed the shit out of somebody, so they just want to send us here and let us rot. We are here with some fellow hollows, and already praying. There ain't even a tree or a dragon. Anytime you see Oscar or the Elite Knight set there in the message, you know it's a developer message. And we are online. So, I mean, in the beginning here, there's not going to be a whole lot of possibility for online interaction. Oh, man. Oh, man. You know what's missing? What is missing is the HUD. There we go. Yeah, they don't give you the option there. We're gonna... Oh, maybe not. I wonder why it's so quiet. Okay. There we go. There's my HUD. There's not an auto selection or why am I ignoring this guy? Okay, so right over there, I need some binoculars, is Mr. Stray Demon. This is an optional boss fight later in the game. Oh, it doesn't have to be that much later. You can come right back here after you leave and drop down on him. And you can see he's been either throwing some people or what's actually the case is one of his attacks is an explosion, like a Wrath of the Gods type deal, and that's kind of what's going on with him. Won't be in dash. I will be looking around a lot and probably go on a little bit too slow for most people's taste, just because I do want to try and, you know, we've played through 1, 2, and 3. I want to know some answers. I mean, I still got questions. No running upstairs, or ladders rather. There was barely any in Dark Souls 3 anyway. I mean, it would slightly go faster, it felt like. First bonfire. Oh boy. No need to rest. Oh shit. Could show that off. So the game is very tricky camera angles. And I remember this, if you happen to be looking around while standing here, you might notice that fella up there. I mean, there is definitely something, and you see the door. Right above the door is a little window where you can see another demon, just like the one we just saw. That little window up there. So, you know, not entirely unfair to see this. Oh. Look at that statue, it's weird. Not entirely certain what that's about. There he is up there. Just chilling. Chilling on the roof. Run. Ah, man, that used to just troll people. People didn't know you could just run away. A coiled sword. Get your shield from these tracking arrows. Get your shield. Ah. What's the lore on you, bud? Easy to use. Yeah, nothing there. I will hopefully be able to just switch away from using a shield pretty quickly and... Oh yeah, get into some... Damn it. Get into some good stuff. Well, for now, let's continue. Oh yeah. Our first backstab. Our first fall gate. Oh man, we're already getting into it. So the stray demon is now no longer on the roof. He is down on the ground. Because we just walked through there. Why is the door closed though? I mean, that door is closed. But in here, you can see Mr. Oscar. Oscar of Astora back there. Chilling in a room with no exit. Except for this fragile wall here. My fragile walls. Huh. I didn't notice that. Locks behind you. Well, I guess that makes sense. Here's troll number 2 from the game. Well, probably number 3 if you count the back here. Hollow. There he is.
Oh, you. You're no Hollow. Hmm? Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I, we're both undead. Hear me out, will you?
Alright, before I answer yes, which I'm going to. I mean, this is Oscar, for fuck's sake. Kind of savage says no. This is about the same stance we find him in at the beginning of Dark Souls 3. And it may not be him, it just could just be some random knight of Astora. But the very first Lord Vessel, or where you find that, the Ashen Estus flask, This is the corpse you looted off of. He's almost exactly in that pose and everything. And you actually find Henri of Astora in a very similar pose the first time you meet her in, what's that bonfire called? It's the Crucifixion Woods area. It's, Road to Sacrifice section.
Regrettably, I have failed in my mission. But perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family. Thou who art undead art chosen, and thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringest the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know. And I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask. An undead favorite. Oh, and this. Now I must bid farewell. I would hate to harm you after death. So go now, and thank you.
I never noticed that message just appears after you get the Estus flask here. An undead favorite. The undead treasure these dull green flasks filled with Estus at bonfire. Fills HP. The Estus flasks are linked to the Firekeepers. The Dark Tales also make reference. The Dark Tales? An emerald flask from the Keeper's soul. She lives to protect the flame and dies to protect it further. That is interesting as hell. I don't believe I ever realized this portion. Link to the Firekeepers. Okay. But also, what is Estus? Because we find Estus soup in Dark Souls 3. Let's see. The Dark Tales also make reference. What the hell are the Dark Tales? An emerald flask. Okay, that's normal. From the Keeper's soul. Well, shit. From the Keeper's soul. Damn. She lives to protect the flame and dies to protect it further. Shit. I'm already into some new shit. Go up here and kill this. Okay, yeah, so once you walk away from him, if you don't kill him like a asshole, he will kill himself. And he makes reference like, he's like, please get out of here, I don't want to do you any harm, because he knows he's about to go hollow. Oh, and the way he got into that room, you can see all the rubble on the ground, not from the hole in the wall, but where he's at, and the sunlight beaming in, right there, that's where he got knocked down there by the asylum demon. I'm pretty sure that's what's meant by that. Let's read that key. Man, these bumpers. Key to the iron bars on the east side of the second floor of the North Undead Asylum. Segmented by countless iron bars. Even if an undead were to escape from a cell, passage to the outside world would not be gained as easily. Okay, so alluding to the boss fight coming up. Okay. So, you know, not too bad. The thrusting attacks. Oh man, I'm terrible. Let's go mess with Shilbro over here. Because he used to be like a pain in the butt. Oh no. Yeah, he still is. Not too bad. Ah, already trying to chug that Estus. So very important message right here. While falling, RB plunging attack. Very easy to miss that. I mean, I'm sure most of you understand that by now. Oh. Getting hit in the butt, bud. Ooh. Man, they start you off with 5 Estus. It's crazy talk. Alright. So you still hear the footsteps, so you know there's still a asylum demon around somewhere, and he's actually under our feet. If we come back here, the floor will fall out. So let's read humanity. Rare tiny black sprite found on corpses. Used to gain 1 humanity and restore a large amount of HP. This black sprite is called humanity, but little is known about its true nature. If the soul is the source of all life, then what distinguishes the humanity we hold within ourselves? Come on, why are you teasing me with fucking riddles already? If the soul is the source of all life. Okay, source of all life is souls. What distinguishes the humanity we hold within ourselves? Source of all life. Source of death, I guess. If that's what you're inferring. What else we pick up? Come on, bumpers. We picked up Big Pilgrim. Pilgrim! Right off the dome, a damn Pilgrim key. From Dark Souls 3, there's Pilgrim butterflies, and like Yoel of Londor is a damn Pilgrim. Key to the inner door of the Undead Asylum, main hall. Big key belonging to a chosen undead pilgrim. But this chosen undead knows not what this pilgrimage has in store. God, what? The use of the word pilgrimage and pilgrim. Just like in fucking Yoel of Londor and Uria's storyline. Now I got fucking questions. Shit. And this is one of those games where you play so many times that literally everything is memorized. There's the crow's nest over here, but I have nothing that I want to trade with them currently. And now we're gonna go to Lodran. Oh man. Oh man, this is such Dark Souls 3 scenery. I never... Dude, does anybody ever notice the fucking similar scenery? Wait, let's look at this building. To see if this looks familiar at all. I'd be willing to bet that this is a location that is accessible. Let me stop. But this is very reminiscent of the starting area of Dark Souls 3. Dude, I never noticed those mountains. I literally run past this so many times, I never stopped to look. Never once.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall rise. To leave the undead asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
Oh man, Firelink Shrine. Man, we are back. Oh, yeah, there's somebody else playing too, man. Praise the sun, baby. Get ready for that shit. Over and over and over again. So before we end this episode, I just want to have a look around. real fast. I'm not going to do my usual loot run. I'll save that for the next episode. I mean, we could make this a 1 hour episode. You know what? That's what I'm kind of feeling. Good old 1 hour episode. Alright, so let's start off talking to... Mr. Crestfallen here. Now, Hawkwood is the equivalent in Dark Souls 3 of this character.
Well, what do we have here? You must be a new arrival. Let me guess. Fate of the undead, right? Well, you're not the first. But there's no salvation here. You'd have done better to rot in the undead asylum. But too late now. Well, since you're here, let me help you out. There are, actually, 2 bells of awakening. One's up above in the undead church. The other is far, far below, in the ruins at the base of Blight Town. Ring them both, and something happens. Brilliant, right? Not much to go on, but I have a feeling that won't stop you. So, off you go. It is why you came, isn't it? To this accursed land of the undead?
What a butthole. But he did tell us that we're not the first person out of the undead asylum. And we'll figure that out very soon once we hit Solaire. But also that Oscar seemed to not know about the 2 bells awakening. And he knows that everybody coming from this damn place talks about these bells, and he's like, dog, I don't know who keeps telling you this shit, but there's 2. And X gonna give it to you. You will be hearing a lot of DMX jokes. That's kind of the... I just wanted to be a goofball in this playthrough and not be so dry and lore heavy, but... Alright, he's got more dialogue, I'm sure.
Ah, your face. You're practically hollow. I don't know. Going hollow could solve quite a bit.
Alright, so he just confirmed for us that we are indeed hollow.
What? Restoring your humanity? Well, there are a few ways to go about it. Collect it bit by bit from corpses. Or you can butter up a cleric and get yourself summoned. And the quickest way, although I never do it, is to kill a healthy undead and pillage its humanity. Coveting thy neighbor is only human, after all.
Alright, so we can restore humanity by just going around picking it up, like right over there by that well. We can restore it by getting summoned and helping a host defeat something. I assume that's what it means by butter up a cleric. Or we can invade and kill somebody who has humanity and take it from them.
What are you looking at? Don't try anything clever. You might regret it.
Okay, so after telling us that we can kill people and take their humanity, he's like, wait, you looking at me, dog? Shit.
What? You want to hear more? Oh, that's all we need. Another inquisitive soul. Well, listen carefully then. One of the bells is up above in the undead church, but the lift is broken. You'll have to climb the stairs up the ruins and access the undead burg through the waterway. The other bell is back down below the undead burg, within the plague-infested Blight Town. But I'd die again before I step foot in that cesspool.
Alright, so he gives us the 2 options. We can either go down into Blight Town, you know, after a while, or we can go up into the undead church. And he mentions that there's a lift, but it's broken, so we have to go through the sewer up there.
Bloody hell, what is it now? You ask too many questions. I'm not up for chatting.
Alright, so he's tired of talking, but immediately what made me think, when he says undead church. Undead church, that is straight up, reminds me of Yuri of Londor and the Sable Church of Londor. which is like the opposite of the Way of White. Man, I mean, it's just shit I never would have picked up on before Dark Souls 3. We'll go down here and talk to Anastasia. I'll have to go get some binoculars so I can look at these people better. So maybe, yeah. So she's the person in the cutscene with that undead by the grave. But she cannot talk. Yeah, we need a Firekeeper soul. Cannot talk. She can talk later. I guess we'll do that. I haven't decided what kind of playthrough we'll do. You know, there's only 2 ending options in this game. I haven't looked at that yet. I don't want to go down yet. No. Okay, so there's a lot of loot around here we can grab. A lot of items, and we'll start with 3 humanity. Going down a well that you can die in if you jump in it from up here. Alright, so the other thing that this reminds me of is when you're fighting Udex Gundyr. Well, let's say you pass Udex Gundyr and you look at the giant grave. There's a lot of this kind of architecture around it. It's not really... I mean, the starting area is very similar to this, only the ground looks a lot different. Textures are different. And I know where all the items are. I just really am trying to look at the architecture, see if there's something familiar. Firebomb. Okay, so this also is a treasure found very early in Dark Souls 3, right before the Udex Gundyr boss fight. Bisque urn filled with black powder explodes, inflicting fire damage. Relatively powerful ranged weapon, especially in situations calling for fire damage. A very precious item at low levels. Low levels, it says. Fuck you. Many warriors use these to augment their strategic repertoire. This shit says levels. Very precious item at low levels. Well, that's a little bit, you know, immersion breaking. I mean, I don't really give a shit at this point. I've played this game so many times. Just never noticed that it mentioned levels. Old Petrus here. Old Petrus. We have our stock. We're about to get another gesture.
Hello there. I believe we are not acquainted.
No, Mr.
I am
Boldcut.
Petrus of Thurland. Have you business with us? If not, I'd prefer to keep a distance, if possible.
Okay, so that is very similar to how Cirrus acts with you when you first meet her. She's like, hey, we've got nothing to gain with working, you know, by working together. Please, you know, stay away from me. Let's keep her distance. But old Petrus here, you know, is a different kind of character, where Cirrus is, I would say, on the whole, a good-ish character, if you can describe her as that. Petrus here, not too much good about Petrus
Hello
going
there.
on here.
I realize that I have requested that we retain our distance. But I also want you to know that it is not meant in ill will. Here, take this, as a token of peace. No, go ahead. It's for you.
Alright, so before we talk to him again, let's... man, I didn't read this either, did I? Soul of a lost undead who has long ago gone hollow. Used to acquire souls. Souls are the source of all life, and whether undead or even hollow, one continues to seek them. Okay. Source of all life is souls. I wish we could get... We can't get a good picture of that face on that. Coin made of copper. Its face shows Old Man McLoif. God of medicine and drink. Okay. Even coins of great value in the world of men have little value in Lordran, where the accepted currency is souls. Those who dream of returning to the outside world are fond of carrying these around. Okay, so first thing, even coins of great value in the world of men have little value in Lordran. So in Lordran, this thing is absolutely useless. Does it even tell you what it does? It doesn't do anything, does it, in this game? In other games, you can use them to increase item find. I don't know if it has any effect in this game, if it does anything. Well, maybe it does. It has little value in Lordran, where the accepted currency is souls. So Petrus is giving us something that's literally worthless. So it's not really that, nice of him. Those who dream of returning to the outside world are fond of carrying these around. So maybe Petrus dreamed of returning to the world of men. I don't know what world that is, but apparently Lordran is the land of the undead.
Oh my, you again. Oh, I know. How about this? I have to await my companions here anyway. So what if I were to teach you some miracles? Would that please you?
Sure.
Very well. Then first, a covenant with the gods. Now let me share my miracles. Only their ultimate effectiveness will be determined by your efforts and your faith.
So an interesting gesture to get from a cleric of the Way of Light, Petrus. Why the hell are you shrugging? Not a very good representative.
My companions are Milady and her young knights. She is young, but burdened by an undead mission. We are her defenses, to keep her from harm.
Alright, Milady hasn't showed up yet, but she'll be over there.
An undead mission? Regrettably, I cannot share that with you. But you are my pupil. Perhaps if you show your faith.
Uh-huh. You know what? I have never once done this, and I'm gonna do it just to waste my damn souls.
Very well. I can surely tell you, of all people, undead clerics are given a mission to seek kindling. Kindling is the art of feeding bonfires with humanity. Through kindling, we shall one day be granted magnificent powers.
Huh. Okay.
Very well.
So that is the rite of kindling that you can get from Pinwheel, I would imagine. We're not going to do that for a little while. But let's see what he has as far as miracles go. Well, let's not start with that. Let's start with heal. Elementary miracle cast by clerics. To cast a miracle, the caster learns a tale of the gods and Okay, so yeah, and says a prayer to be blessed by its revelations. Heal is the shortest of such miraculous tales. Normally in a first-time playthrough, I pick that up just for survivability. Miracle of clerics. Guidance facilitates communications between undead, but their value varies greatly. A balance of faith and wisdom is required. Is it 0 and 12? Okay. A balance of faith and wisdom is required. Okay, whatever. Cleric Knights. This quickly acting miracle inflicts no damage, but propels foes back and defends against arrows. Cleric Knights use this miracle when charging into enemy mobs. Yeah. Would normally link to one's homeland, only the curse of the undead has distorted its power, redirecting casters to a bonfire. Or perhaps, for undead, this serves as home. And once we get Homeward Bones, we'll have something similar. Great miracle cast by advanced clerics. Restores high HP. Great heal expert borrows from only several verses of Great Heal. As a result, it can only be cast a stark few times. By advanced clerics. So he is cast by advanced clerics. So he is an advanced cleric, I guess? Or he could be. He could just know the spell. Medium for casting miracles of the gods. Standard talisman issued to common believers. So that would make it seem like he's a common believer. Equip talisman to cast miracles. Attune miracles from a scroll at a bonfire. Most miracles have limited number of uses. Medium for casting miracles of the gods. This talisman is only granted to high-ranking Thurling clerics. Has high miracle adjustment, which, thanks to divine protection, is not dependent upon faith. Okay, so high-ranking Thurling cleric, and he has great heal expert, so it makes it sound like he's...
Come again. The effectiveness of the teachings depend upon your faith.
And by faith, he means you giving him souls. But, I mean, him having that stuff makes it sound like he's either high-ranking or more likely he killed somebody that was high-ranking. Knowing old Petrus. So my normal path here doesn't go this direction. We'll do the normal path. We'll go up here to the lift that... Well, we'll bypass the lift for the moment. More souls. Source of all life, by the way. This is the lift that's broken that, what's-his-face told us about. So normally this would go up to the undead church. But it's broken. But we can go down here and we find someone's secret stash. And that's presumed what this is. We got some cracked red eye orbs. Interesting. Interesting to find. Invade another world. Hollows cannot use the item. Hollows cannot use the item? Defeat the master of the world you have invaded to acquire humanity. The cracked red eye orb allows players to temporarily initiate this ability, normally limited to the dark race of Koth. Already a mention of the primordial serpent Koth. Morning Star and a Talisman. This is straight up gear from Petrus of Thurland. Let's not do it that way. Come on, buttons, work with me. Here we have hammer with a sharp spike on its pommel. One of the more barbaric cleric weapons. Uniquely, this hammer inflicts thrust damage and causes bleeding. I've already read that. Homer Bone. Classic. Bone fragment reduced to white ash. There's mention of ash already. A return to the last bonfire used for resting. Bonfires are fueled by bones of the undead. In rare cases, the strong urge of their previous owners to seek bonfires enchants their bones with a homeward instinct. Yeah. And there's one more. Yeah. And then we drop down into the graveyard and we can do our little graveyard run. Hopefully not die. Lloyd's Talisman. All-Father Lloyd. Talisman utilized by All-Father Lloyd's cleric knights to hunt down the undead. Undead hunter charms, what they call it in Dark Souls 3. Blocks Estus recovery within a limited area. In the outside world, the undead are cursed creatures, and Lloyd's cleric knights are widely praised for their undead hunts. This blessed talisman blocks undead recovery, allowing the knights to fight with impunity. All-Father Lloyd. We'll learn a little bit about more about him at some point. So we're just gonna hit through here and try not to die. Oh man, not off to a good start though, are we? You definitely want to hit the binoculars, which are back in here. Right there, they are. There's a Zweihander in here and a Caduceus? Wing Spear. Did I miss the Zwei? I did. Wow. Well. Ring of the Evil Eye. Oh, Henri of Astora. Already. We're practically hollow. This water area is normally where Grant shows up. Here's an interesting statue. A baby and a lady. And an open treasure chest. Binoculars made of brass used to peer at distant scenery. This advanced device was built by a famous craftsman of Astora. Its utility is singular, but its applications many. The value of these specs depend greatly on the imagination of their owner. Well, this ain't Dark Souls 2, bud. Before it was patched. A long-hilted spear with a barbed point, long reach, and can be used with shield up. Effective against hard exteriors and hits for high damage at the right moment of an enemy swing. But the hit radius is small and is easy blocked by shields. What did I just do? No significant lore yet from that. That is an interesting statue. We'll have to come back to that. And for some reason already I'm seeing... Yeah, let's not even talk about Ocelot. So this treasure is visible with some camera tricks. And where did I miss the Zweihander at? I know it's down here, unless I've lost my mind. We'll go ahead and make a run up here and grab this treasure by the crow. Up there. And we're almost done. We've got a little, we gotta get the Zweihander. I know it's down there. And the Caduceus round shield, it's down there. Just gotta remember exactly where. Let's change equipment. The old binoculars, the binos. If we can't see something, we got our souls over there. Somewhere in here. Uh-oh. That was weird. Is... Oh. There's our shield. I mean, not our shield. We won't ever use it. Maybe in the Night Butterfly fight. But we are certainly still missing some good loots. Ah, there it is. There it is. There it is. Alright, now it's time to boogie. I'm gonna have to get used to that jump button again. It is chain spots. So we got the Zweihander, one of the gigantic great swords. As the name suggests, the Zweihander is held with two hands, but its wielder must still be inhumanly strong. It is this great weight that sends foes flying when hit solidly. I will probably use this sword the entire game once I am able to use it. We need... Let's see if I can highlight this. Required parameters right here. Tells us we need 24 strength and 10 dexterity. However, to two-handed, what do we need? We need 16 strength and 10 dexterity. We have 13 dex and 13 strength, so we need 3 dexterity. Or excuse me, 3 strength. Yeah. So let's see how close we can get to that. We could, let's just equip it, man. We could go down if we need to and get some more souls from Londor. New Londo, rather. let's. Oh yeah, we're good. So we should be able to use that now. Go ahead and start leveling up correctly. Oh yeah, fat rolling is a different animal altogether in this game. Alright, so now we've removed our gloves and we are able to still medium roll. We don't really need to level up, but we might as well go down there, because that's interesting as hell that the Church of Londor could be right underneath our feet. Very similar to Dark Souls 3 elevators, which it should be. Oh yeah, New Londo, baby. Where the undead are just literally out of their mind back here. New Londo ruins. Man, that is the attack right there. That is the beast mode. The Iron Pig Killer. Give them souls. I want them. I want some. Hard to see what they're praying to. I mean, there's no trees or dragons here that they could be praying to. They're just kind of... Right, and one of the coolest undead you'll ever see. This guy, just chilling. Little New Londo and chill going on here. Go talk to our first blacksmith so that we can meet. Pretty useless at the moment, though.
Well, this is unusual. You haven't lost your head. And more importantly, you're free. How on earth? Well, I shouldn't pry. I'm Rickett of Vinheim. I was once an established smith. Look at me now. Can you believe it?
I can believe it. What you doing locked up there, fool?
What is it? Have you? Oh no. Don't worry. No intention of escape. It's safe here. I can't bear the thought of going hollow out there. Although, I must admit, I've not much to occupy myself. How about this? I could forge your weapons, albeit with rather minimal tools. I'll show you what made me the best in Vinheim.
Best in Vinheim. A more powerful but also slower sorcery, difficult to use due to a long cooldown and a limitation on the number of castings. Inflict magic damage, making them effective against iron armor, tough scales, and other physically resistant materials. Sorcery Catalyst used by the sorcerers of Vinheim Dragon School. Equip Catalyst to use sorceries. Attune sorceries from a scroll at a bonfire. Most sorceries have a limited number of uses. Vinheim Dragon School. This is our first mention of these guys.
What? There's nothing to do. We're both cursed. undead. But what's there really to moan about? Hmm? We're both... Hmm? What's happened?
I've left, bud. Don't cry over spilt milk. Oh. Little PvP gear already. The largest of the thrusting swords can pierce an armored knight in one thrust. The blade is also sharp, allowing slicing as well. Yeah. Mostly just R1 spam, though. I mean, that's what you use it for. And this item here that I don't believe is in Dark Souls 3. And it's not, no. Because there aren't any ghosts you fight. I don't remember, rather. Limb of the victim of a curse. Temporary curse allows engagement with ghosts. The only way to fight back against ghosts, who are cursed beings, is to become cursed oneself. The safest method, however dreadful, is to cut off an arm of the dead. And there you go. The only way to hit ghosts is to be cursed. And I don't, it doesn't mean curse of the undead. It just means curse. We are going to pop out here just to grab the soul behind the door, but then, we might go fuck with that dragon momentarily. Valley of the Drakes. Drake Valley. The back door to Blighttown is that way. We're going to start off with the intention of doing everything from the front, but Blighttown front door is, I mean, just absolute ass to do. Back door is so quick and easy. But we'll grab a few pieces of loot here and then we'll skedaddle. Very awesome creature here. And the dragon. I'll try not to get myself killed. Just ancient, been here forever. Proud Knight. Well, you tried. You failed. And I believe it's this guy on the left we can sneak up on and grab. Yeah. This is a sword that Oscar carries around. There's several mentions of Astora already. Straight sword of an unknown knight, likely one of Astora's superiors. High quality weapon with a powerful blessing. Yeah, and then that's the Dragon Crest shield right there. However, we do not want to awaken this fella just yet. So that's pretty much what's going to be this first episode. I'll wait until the 10th to actually get into some possible PvP scenarios. We are going to be playing online. I played all of my Dark Souls 3, at least the content that's on YouTube was offline, but this is going to be 100% online. You know, as much as I can possibly do that without any network problems or any of that shit. New Londo Ruins. I can't wait to get in there and get that Londor lore. But like I said, we are going to try and do everything front door as it was intended to be done. And we're going to try and get the lore, man. We're going to try and get some understanding. Already picked up some interesting pieces just from the start. I can't wait to kill Lautrec, man. Normally, when we get Lautrec, I just kick him off the cliff here, but we're gonna try and do the whole Ringfinger Leonhard type quest. I mean, it's a Lautrec type quest, and then Ringfinger was fearsome. Anyway, we'll try and do that, and we'll try and get her voice back. And again, in Dark Souls 3 equivalent of her would be Rosaria. Which is interesting because perhaps the body, the slug that Rosaria is holding is that. Oh boy, I'm too tired to be speculating that horse shit. Anyway, when we return next episode, we'll head up there, across the sewer, and into the Undead Burg. Cannot wait. We'll see you then, guys.